Oh, wonderful. Let's see. Well, let me tell you, I'm much like Joseph. I'm in the illustrious state of Maryland, which is only so close. There you go. I got some Marylanders out here. But we're really close to the proximity of Washington, D.C. But a couple of things that you want to know about this unique battle, and it's very similar to what Joseph said. One, we're in that defense position. Just last April, the Maryland State Legislature decided that they wanted to redefine Maryland. One of the things that was interesting is that this has been the champion cause for Governor Martin O'Malley to say, well, we're going to take care of that religious freedom issue. So we are fighting what is called the Civil Marriage and Religious Freedom Protection Act. And so this is a redefinition of marriage, and that's it. That they gave us nothing more than the First Amendment rights we've already given us in our Constitution. And one of the things about this particular battle is that we are in that same position. We had the ability for referendum. We put 3 times the amount of signatures on that. Nearly 200,000 signatures were put on a referendum petition recently. And then which was also the largest in history of Maryland. We have probably the biggest coalition that's ever been represented. I always say, jokingly sometimes, we've had some of the biggest rallies that have ever happened in Annapolis, Maryland. And we had... and some people will laugh. I said we had Tea Party people standing next to NAACP folks. Now that's because people care about marriage, all right? But we're in a critical state. Much like Joseph, we're at that place of saying, hey, we have to defend this collectively together. Some of the uniquenesses of Maryland that I'll take just a couple moments, we are in a no position. We have to make sure that people vote no on this issue, no on question 6 in the state of Maryland. Now, the other thing that we know is that the Human Rights Campaign has been in the state of Maryland for over the last year and a half, and already, before this battle even started, they had spent $1.2 million in our state. The interesting thing, though, that I always like to help people understand, there's something quite unique about Maryland. Quite simply, it's the demographics. Maryland's demographics are comprised of over 30% African American, which represent over 25% of the electorate. Subsequently, 42% of churchgoers, which represent approximately 1 million Catholics in our state. These 2 factors have been the consistent underpinning of many victories around the different states on the issue of marriage. And just like my buddy Carol said, you know, that's a critical component and a factor for him winning and being able to be successful in Maine. Now, for us in Maryland, we look at it quite simply. The African American and Catholic constituents are comprised of some of the strongest folks that are in the place of marriage. And that does not exclude anybody else, because everybody else has to come out on this issue. Everybody else. Every person on our side, every coach that just believes simplistically that marriage should be defined between one man and one woman has to participate. Now let me say this, and I'll pass it on to John, is that we cannot afford to lose footing on these issues. And quite interestingly, I need to tell you why. Because if we lose in Maryland specifically, the headlines will read the next day. Let me give you the headlines. One of the headlines, of course, is already going to read that one of us, one state got, lost. That's going to be national. But let me tell you a couple of the sub-headlines. Obama wins on gay marriage. The next headline would be Catholic governor of Maryland switches the Catholic vote. Let me help you understand. Neither of those two things can we allow to happen on our watch. Yes. I believe we have a unique ability to collectively work together in all 4 of these states to make sure that this does not happen. We have to have you, and we cannot do it without you. And so you are a critical component to this. The reason why we're here today to take these few moments is to tell you, we have to have you involved in this issue. We need you in your support. We need you in your help. We need you in every possible way. We call your family, your friends, your cousins, your grandmothers, and your sisters to make sure they know that in Maryland, we need you to help out. In Washington, we need you to help out. In Maine, we need you to help out. In Minnesota, we need you to help out. We cannot do it without you, and you are critical to the success.